Well, you know, when it comes to landscape design, when you want to blend the old with the new, there's no better company to contact than Linton's Enchanted Gardens. And Mark Linton, blending the old with the new is easy on this project today because you put in the old and you put in the new. You've been here a while at this property.
We have. Actually, it goes back, I think, at least 30 years, if not more. Did some work for the original owners here. And then the property just recently sold, and one of our past clients who we've featured on the show before and have done multiple projects with their beautiful home in Middlebury purchased this house and wanted to breathe new life into it.
Isn't that something? So probably another 30 years or so you'll be back here again, won't you, to do another little freshen up?
Probably in a walker or a wheelchair.
I doubt that. I doubt that. Well, I tell you, there's all kinds of ideas waiting for you here as we renovate and mix that old with the new. And you've done another seamless job here, Mark, of, you know, it's hard for us to tell which is the old and which is the new.
Well, thank you, and that of course was the goal. What makes it easy is that we have our own nursery, and by growing our own plant material, we can invest into some plants for some pretty long time and get some large mature trees and shrubs just by investing the time into it, and then that way it blends in with an existing landscape.
Yeah, that fact alone probably makes it look more contiguous, right? You're using the same company and the same products. Everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it all goes together to make a beautiful landscape design. Well, Mark, let's get started here. What do you say?
Okay, directly behind you, viewers left here, we are featuring a Canadian hemlock, and it's a very formal house, so we've got a formal landscape going with it. Nice way to anchor the corner. We're giving it plenty of room to grow. We like to plan for 20, 25 years worth of use. Obviously, the previous owner squeezed 30 years out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? 30 years.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then this is actually a columnar or Hicks IU. This is something that we added and wanted to use kind of some more mature plant material here to blend the new with the old. It gives us some height but not some width. We want to respect the windows here and not cover them up, so the columnar nature of this fits perfectly up against that wall.
It sure does. You're standing on some brand new ground cover, aren't you?
Yes, and that's something that we did replace. There was ground cover here before, but it was getting tired, and basically over the years fine particulates kind of settle in, and they basically contaminate that weed barrier, and then that's an opportunity for weeds start growing. And so 20-25 years is good use out of a stone and weed barrier.
Yeah. Some great selections here, right?
Well, this happens to be an existing shrub that we thought we could get another 10 years or so out of. We've got, for a splash of color, a couple of glow blue spruce shrubs that will stay below the base of the windows.
Sure.
And we've got some summer color here with our knockout roses. This star magnolia fits out perfectly for a little bit of height to soften that wall in between the windows. This was one of the original plants that we kept and worked around.
I see some patterns developing here and some good symmetry.
Well, thank you for noticing. The Japanese maple is kind of the cherry on top of the sundae here. It was part of the original landscape, and we felt that could get many more years worth of use out of that.
You want to keep that one, don't you?
It is absolutely spectacular.
It is.
We've got some of our low maintenance roses. These are our drift roses. We've got a combination of knockouts and drift roses. The drift are more of a miniature type of rose, but both of them continue to bloom all spring, summer, and into the fall. I've seen them in bloom all the way up until Thanksgiving.
You know, it's interesting here. You have a front door and front door number 2. You've got 2 entry points, don't you?
That's right. And we wanted the main focus to be on the double doors here. So a very formal entrance flanked with a couple of patio trees, the globe blue spruce patio trees. Ties in with globe blue spruce shrubs. Couple of little miniature dwarf Alberta spruce, a little bit of vertical height here. Bones of the landscape are the little boxwood hedges, which will stay below the base of the windows.
Mark, you've talked about it before, but just a little bit of investment on this end of things brings a great ROI down the road, doesn't it?
You know, it is an investment that grows, and we did this project this past spring, and it will continue to get better over time.
Yeah, I love the way that works. How about here?
Isn't this a beautiful hydrangea here?
I love the color.
I love working with hydrangeas because they continue to bloom for such a long period of time.
Okay.
This started blooming late springtime, and this will bloom all the way up until frost this fall.
Fantastic. And then next to it,
A repeat of
Yep.
boxwood,
Yep.
and of course we like to work with evergreens. They're the bones of the landscape. So the concept is when the hydrangea defoliates or loses its leaves during the fall and the winter time, we still have some winter interests here with the boxwoods. Ties in with little boxwood hedges which are behind us. And then, Craig, we also created a boxwood hedge on the other side of the driveway.
Yes, you have. And I think we need to go over that way and take a peek. What do you say?
Let's go.
Okay. We're here on the beautiful St. Joe River in Elkhart, and Mark, we're really in the front yard, standing on the berm of this landscape project that you worked on some 30 years ago for the original homeowner. Back here now again, freshening things up. It's exciting what you've done, and actually we're standing right on the spot, right, where there once was a tree.
That's right. Not only a tree here, but on the opposite end was another tree. And after 30 years, they had gotten so big, so huge, they were creating a visual block from the street and totally hiding a beautiful home.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you?
We don't. We want to accent the beauty of the house. Now, the Japanese maple, that was part of the original landscape as well. And because that's such a precious tree and it takes so long for them to grow, we wanted to keep that tree there, but then removed the other two. And that will give it extended life. It's going to have more airspace for it to continue to thrive.
You taught me some new lingo. You limbed that thing up, didn't you?
That is a landscape term, and limbing a tree up means that you're removing the lower branches. We keep the major branches, especially on a tree like that, has beautiful branch structure, and what that allows is the eye to actually see through and see past the tree, so we don't have that visual block of the house.
Limbing up. Oh, that's no secret. And you know, you don't like to keep secrets at all. You share everything openly with the viewers at home. And one of the things you want to share is the whole idea of an elevated berm here.
It is one of the design secrets, and happy to share. Whenever I'm working with either designing a circular driveway or a circular driveway that's in existence, I like to create a landscape berm. It's a way that we can fool the eye.
Fool the eye.
Yeah, actually with a circular driveway, you've got a lot of concrete. And it's not all that attractive to see all the concrete at once.
Right.
And so simply by creating a small earth berm here, no matter where you're at, no matter what angle you're viewing this from, you cannot see the whole entire concrete drive at the same time.
It's a great practical landscape idea that viewers at home can implement in their own landscape design.
Absolutely.
And you have some ideas you can share that go even beyond that if you want to connect with Linton's. But talk about some of the plant material you chose out here, Mark.
Well, the homeowners appreciated the beauty of knockout roses with a past landscape that we did for them at their home in Middlebury. We've got two beds of knockout roses here, nice splash of nonstop color all spring, summer, and fall. These happen to be the red ones, and they're performing beautifully.
They look like they are.
And then we also have color with our gold thread cypress, a nice golden coloration 12 months out of the year. I also like the contrast of textures because behind it we've got this very formal boxwood hedge and very kind of firm structural type of look with the boxwoods. And then we've got these fluffy little dwarf evergreens out here, which the eye appreciates, kind of seeing the difference there.
You told me before we went on, this boxwood is positioned in such a way that it really lends itself to easy snow removal, and there's probably another reason that you set it back a little bit.
A couple of reasons, and yes, number one, snow removal. Here in Michiana, yes, we've got to deal with snow, and with a large driveway like this, we have to assume that it's going to be plowed by a snowplow truck, and so we've got it set back. Really don't want to do any damage to the hedge with winter snow removal, and then also it allows for people to easily get in and out of vehicles. We've got a little buffer zone there.
You're not going to open up your car door into a bush, right?
Absolutely, and if we've got some
sense.
first-time guests here that aren't really familiar with the driveway, they've got a little fudge factor.
Yeah, I like that. And to boot, some lighting that helps along the way too that you've installed.
Thanks for noticing. Our guys do a great job with landscape lighting, and it's kind of the finishing touches. Not only can enjoy the new landscape all day long, but it continues into the night. It helps the guests navigate the circular driveway here. But just went through and put in those light fixtures.
Very, very nice. I like the look here. This is a nice way to corner off the berm.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. Well, you've done a lot of work here in front, Mark, and what the folks at home maybe don't realize is that you've done some work along the sides and back too. And what do you say we go back and take a peek?
Okay.
All righty. Well, if you ask Mark Linton what his favorite plant, tree, or shrub is, he'll probably tell you right in the top there, of the top 5 maybe, is the Japanese maple, and you've got a beauty here, Mark.
Well, thank you, and yes, we've been working together a long time, and you know that is my favorite tree. And we grow so many different varieties of Japanese maples. This one happens to be our blood good Japanese maple, prized for those beautiful burgundy colored leaves that continue all spring, summer, and fall.
Yes. What about the roses here and the other plants?
Well, that's something that we changed. The landscape bed over the period of time really became too small. And so what we did was enlarge the bed so that the tree can continue to grow and not be squeezed in there. And then that was an opportunity for us to add a splash of color with the nonstop blooming drift roses.
Yeah, they are beautiful, stunning. And you've got a little walkway off to your right here, but before that, you've got some activity going on behind us.
Yeah, we've got some windows here. It all overlook the beautiful St. Joe River here, and that was the draw for Mike and Dixie. Beautiful spot here on the river. And so out of respect, we wanted to make sure that we had things that stay below the base of the window. And these happen to be dwarf burning bush, which grow much, much slower than common burning bush. Very easily kept pruned below the window. And we're just now starting to see some fall color action going on there.
Mm-hmm. Again, very difficult to tell what you brought in and what was here maybe 30 years ago even. It's a great blend and a nice look here as we look down toward the river.
Another specimen Japanase maple. This happens to be our Tamukiyama Japanese maple.
Easy for you to say.
Well, that's Japanese, but beautiful red lacy type of leaves. It's more of a shorter miniature variety. Then we continue along with drift roses. These happen to be a peach colored drift rose, and then accented with some globe blue spruce.
Now, how many different kinds of Japanese maples are there, Mark? You've talked about 2 or 3 here already today.
Certainly. We're in zone 5 here, and that makes a big difference because there are hundreds of Japanese maples in existence, but not all of them grow in zone 5. We probably have close to 30 different varieties that we're growing at our nursery in Bristol.
Amazing. Well, it makes a house a home, and you know, no one knows about a home and how comfortable and inviting it can be. No one knows more about that than Mark Linton. And you know, when you think of a home, you think of the structure and the landscaping, but a home is a place that you can enjoy. And man, I tell you what, these homeowners must just really love this place here.
I appreciate the opportunity to help their dreams become reality.
Excellent. Well, we've got much more coming up on the program. More detail, plants, trees, and shrubs will be featured in a little bit. Stay with us. We'll be right back.